The Battle of Trenton took place on December 25th, 1776. After declaring their independence from Britain in July 4th, 1776, made it a tough war against the British and their mercenaries, the Hessians. In the middle of the winter of 1776, the Continental Army, led by General George Washington, camped along the Delaware River after being defeated by the British General William Howe at the Battle of Long Island in New York. Washington, at the lowest part in the war, without any idea what to do, decided to scope around the area. Washington then found a camp of Hessians. Then, thinking to himself, he thought he could raid the camp, looting their supplies and the troops as prisoners, and moving forward in the war. That evening, Washington met up with his officers, Colonel Knox, General Greene, General Sullivan, General Gates, and Colonel Glover. Washington shared his plan with them, and General Gates, thinking he was the better general, argued with Washington, saying that his plan was foolish and it would never work, and that he would fail. Washington ignored him and told him to leave. Everyone else, agreeing with Washington, continued with the plan. They agreed that the plan would take place on December 25th, 1776, otherwise known as Christmas Day. The next day, Washington went to a house owned by a man named McConkey and asked him if he could use his house for headquarters for that night of the attack. McConkey agreed, and he let Washington use his home. Washington then gave his orders to his officers. General Sullivan would go around and attack from one side with the cannons and some troops. Washington, Glover, Greene, and Knox would cross the river attacking the other side. Glover was in charge of making sure that everyone was and had crossed the river before the attack. Once they finished, they marched on to Trenton. Washington was very strict on time. Everybody moving slow made him attack it in the morning. Once at Trenton, Washington said that he would attack at 8 a.m. At that time, Washington and his men were ready to attack. During the battle, Hessian Colonel Rall did not know this was occurring, but then later found out. Him slowly getting ready, and then joined the fight. With many guns firing and cannon shooting, one of the guns hit Rall, injured him very badly, and forcing them to surrender. Washington, holding his men, found the white flag, and they have won their first battle in this war. Washington, surprised that he won, accepted the surrender. After that, Rall later then passed away, and Washington received around 900 Hessian soldiers, 6 cannons, ammunition, wagons, 49 Hessian horses, blankets, clothes, meat, and cornmeal. Winning their first battle, Washington was keeping his head high and proud of his men. He ended up later winning the Revolutionary War, officially declaring their independence from Britain with the aid of the French later on, but that is a different story. Then, later on, after all these events, later led into Washington being elected as the first U.S. president, and soon leading to where everything we are today is. Without Washington, we would still be under British rule, and all of this would have failed.
It kills me not to know this, but I've all but just forgotten what the color of her eyes were, and her scars or how she got them, as the telling signs of age rain down. A single tear is